Valentine's Day in any way whatsoever, I wanted to share this menu and a couple of ideas with you, and also talk about other more casual ideas I have, because I am not celebrating Valentine's in a romantic way. I am spending it with some girlfriends. We have this day planned where we're going like food adventuring, basically. It just happened to work out on Valentine's. So I just love cooking for the people I love on Valentine's. And I'm kind of doing a bunch of things all week. So I'm cooking for my son for his Super Bowl party. And I'm making boards out of candy, which will be Valentine's Day-ish. It's probably all boys at the party, though. Hi, KQ. So I'll try to keep it kind of low key, but I'm going to do that. And I have some great ideas that I've posted on my Instagram feed. Also, if you go to katiekirk.com and you enter my name, you'll find stuff that I've already done for Valentine's on there as well. Because last year we did a charcuterie board. Oh, I'll post that again tonight. We did a charcuterie board. We did like a healthier one. And then we did a fondue board with chocolate. Oh, so good. And then we did a candy board. And they were all so phenomenal. So those are great ideas if you want to just be casual with friends, maybe watch a movie, hang out, Galentine's, Guyentines, everybody times. I don't know, but that will be fun. And then tonight's menu is just meant to share some things with you that are maybe a little bit different than what you see out there. Because it seems like everybody is sharing the recipes that are like over the top heavy steak, chocolate dessert. Huge fan of both of those things. But this ahi tuna with pepperonata is so yummy. And I probably have I made the pepperonata with you all already? I think I have, but it's one of those things I might even put it in the hot sauce category. It like it's become so popular. It's like I should probably like put it in a jar and sell it. So it was originally supposed to go with the tuna. So I figured tuna is a splurge menu, right? It's a splurge item. It's $30 a pound, and I got a half a pound. Pour moi. Charlie won't eat it, I don't think. And we'll put the pepperonata on top. It's just, if you like both of those things together, they're phenomenal. So I wanted to show you how to sear pepperonata or tuna. It's like a 2-minute thing, right? So we'll do that. And then we'll do this French onion dip, which is just super fun if you want something heavier, like luxurious to start, and then you want to do a lighter dinner. I just don't like it when you start a meal and you start off heavy and you go into heavy dinner and into heavy dessert. So we're going to kind of, switch it up a little bit. And this dip, although it's amazing with crackers or French bread for dipping, this is like a great Super Bowl thing, actually. It would also be great with vegetables. And so you could do it with crudité and lighten it up a little bit. It's so weird to not be looking at you. Let's just do this a little bit. No, it's not going to help really. And then I'm going to make the camera fall off. I'll be a hot mess. So you can do that. And then the tuna with the pepperonata, which you could easily do with roast potatoes on the side. You could do rice if you like. You could do cauliflower rice if you're big into no carbs. And then the granita for dessert is what we're going to kick it off with, because more than anything, it's the technique that I want to show you, and it has to sit in the freezer. So it might not even be done by the time we're done, but we're going to give it a try anyhow. So let's kick it off with that. I'm also, if anybody's cooking along, let me know if you are, because I had to cheat some of these so that we don't run out of time, right? Like I also caramelized my onions down, and the peppers are roasting in the oven right now. So I wanted to be able to show you how to steam those and peel them if you've never done it before. We'll probably be here. You'll be sitting watching me do that. So think of questions to ask me, because it'll probably take a little while. Okay, so let's start with the granita while we wait for the peppers to finish cooking. And this is what I did in advance. Wait, you woke your wrist? You broke your wrist, Deb? Oh, you broke your wrist, I'm guessing? Yes, you can't cook. I'm so sorry. Well, I'm going to take you guys through this. And here's the great news. When I read my recipes that I've written, and the strawberry lime granita is one of them, sometimes I just think of better ways to do it than the original. And this is one of those. So if you printed out the recipe, I want you to make a note. Here's what I did. It calls for a pound of strawberries, right? And you cut the tops off and you blend them up. Hi, Angie. But here's what I did today. I bought organic frozen strawberries, okay? And I just let them sit at room temp for like an hour to defrost before I blended them. right? And the reason we blend them is to make it into a puree, but also strain the seeds out of there. So I blended them in my blender, and then I put them through a mesh sieve that's like fine enough to catch the seeds, right? Here's what I realized today while I was doing this. I blended up all the strawberries, right? So, and I let them blend up by themselves so they could really puree and not be lumpy. Then I just added the lime juice and the simple syrup directly to this, made it all one liquid and poured the entire thing through this. So it's a lot smarter because the thing you can control is if the strawberries are too thick to puree on their own, you can add a little bit of the lime juice or the simple syrup to get it going, and then add the rest of the liquid, and then just strain the whole thing through here. And you know how much was left? It was like one layer of the little strawberry seeds. It was not a lot. So I got most of the liquid back, okay? And you just press them through here into a bowl. And then what happens is a lot of the mixture stays on the bottom of the sieve, so you want to just wipe that off too, right? So that's what I did with this. And then you taste it and you add more simple syrup, or you can taste it while it's still in the blender and see if you need to add more simple syrup. So it's that easy. I'm going to show you the technique for freezing it here in a second. But the other thing is that to make simple syrup, the recipe I have for it is actually 1 part water to a 1/2 part sugar. And that's because I was trying to cut back on the amount of sugar in the book. And I used organic cane sugar, which when you get it, a lot of times it's not bleached, which is good. So it's brownish. And mine came out brownish. I'm going to see how the hummingbirds like it because I made extra. So it's a little less sweet than most simple syrups. So if you want to add more, you certainly can. But here is mine, and I'm going to taste it one last time before we freeze it, and then we'll talk about the freezing technique. Should I try this with Harry's berries? Would certainly be delicious, but also pricey. Yeah, right. Well, this is so good. I ended up using probably an extra 1/4 to a 1/2 cup of simple syrup. So about, if you think about that, it's almost double the sugar. But I only used, I'm trying to think, it calls for the recipe 1 cup water, 1/2 cup sugar. I probably ended up using, if I had done that amount, I did a larger amount. I used like 2/3 of that. Okay. All right. So here's the thing that's so cool about granita. Granita is just, somebody invented this by mistake, I'm convinced. Think of sorbet. So there's no liquid in it, or there's no dairy in it. But instead of churning it in an ice cream maker, we just pour it in this pan and let it start to freeze until it forms crystals. And then you scrape it with a fork and it gets fluffy. It's almost like a snow cone. It's somewhere between sorbet and a snow cone. So that's why I'm excited to get it started for you. Okay, I'm going to check on the peppers. Let's see here. I have to do that first. Ooh, wow. These are perfect. Okay, good timing. These are beautiful. You want them nice and dark, really dark. Even if they're a little darker than this, it's fine. But what I'm going to do right now is put them in a bowl and cover it with saran wrap to steam them so we can get the, we can peel them. So let's get it. Trying to face you while I do this. Let me get my tongs so I'm safe. They're incredibly hot on the inside and they've got a lot of moisture in them from roasting like this. So we want to be super careful. Oopsie, see all that liquid that just came out? It's like bubbling. We want to be so careful. And then I'm going to quickly cover it with saran wrap. You can use tin foil, but I want us to be able to see, okay? So tin foil is the better choice environmentally for sure. But let's cover these quickly and then we'll get on to our granita. Some things can't wait. We want to trap all of that steam in here and it'll help us peel the skins right off. Of course, the saran wrap's a little cranky. That's just the way it goes, right? All right, let me just cut it. Hold on, let me do a double because this isn't going to cover it quite enough. But I can already see the steam coming to the top, which is good. I just love how I throw everything on the other side of my kitchen when I'm cooking with you all. And then I turn off the camera and I move this island back and then it's just like a pigsty. Okay. So look at that. Can you see this steam? You guys can't really see, but it's starting to steam over here, right? So we're gonna let these sit for a few minutes, just like they are. And then back to granita. We're gonna just switch gears here. So here is my pan. You can use a smaller pan, but the point is you want as much surface area as possible because what we're looking to do is freeze it quickly, right? So the more surface area you've got exposed to the cold air, the faster it's gonna freeze. So I'm obsessed with this color. I think I want this color for my branding. It's called watermelon. You probably can't tell against my red shirt, but it is so beautiful. I can't handle it. Okay, so into the freezer this goes. Not covered, not covered. And we're gonna set a timer. Oopsie. I need a little more space in my freezer. Sorry, guys. Oopsie. There we go. Okay. So in it went. And it says, the recipe says, wait about 25 minutes. That seems like a strange number to put, but every freezer is different, right? So the point is you don't want to keep opening and closing it just like an oven. So be patient, but give it at least 20 minutes before you start to look. What's going to happen is as the ice crystals form around the sides first, it'll start to be like an ice skating rink, right? And once there's enough ice on top to start scraping, you give it a scrape, put it back in, and you just keep doing that as it freezes. And before you know it, you have this beautiful, fluffy amount of granita. So let me rinse this out. And then what we'll do, why don't we prep the other ingredients for the pepperonata? And then I've cooked the onions down already for the French onion dip, but we'll talk about the difference between doing it inside versus smoking it or just cooking it on the Traeger, because that recipe was designed for the grill, but works equally well inside. Okay. Can you guys hear this song? Bryan Adams. Oh my goodness. This reminds me of 8th grade. No, this was high school. I remember who I was dating. Luckily, he's not on here right now, although he's a dear friend. Oh my God, I loved this song. So funny. Okay, let's talk about the rest of the pepperonata ingredients. And then I'm also going to do 2 things for the dip while we're at it. And here's what I did for the French onion dip. I sauteed the onions. I mean, it was like up to here. I put it on Instagram because it looks like it's a crazy amount, 3 pounds, right? And because there are so many, you don't have to stir quite as much, but you have to keep stirring to take the heat from the bottom and put it on top so they start to melt down, right? And then salt, olive oil, the recipe calls for butter. But it's just a matter of constant stirring and stirring as much as you possibly can. I kind of keep them on low once they really start to cook down and make sure that they cover the entire bottom of the pan, because where they aren't covered, your pan will start to burn because of the sugars in the onion, okay? So if they are burning or getting too brown, you can do a couple things. You can add a splash of water, like the thing that nobody tells you to do that works really well. Or you can add a little bit more oil, or you could even add acid as a really great way to deglaze things. So you could add a squeeze of lemon juice and then just scrape that up really fast and it would work perfectly, okay? So the lemon juice in this recipe is added to the mayonnaise and the sour cream separately, which I already went ahead and mixed together. And while I'm at it, since I'd already cut this lemon, I'll show you. I'm just going to add that to it right now. And then I'll add some freshly ground black pepper because this is so lightly seasoned. The only other thing we're going to add to it is some fresh thyme. Here goes Bryan Adams. Can you guys hear the music at all? Do we like it or thumbs down for music? Is it relaxing? So like going to a restaurant? I'm wondering what it would cost. Oh, you can't hear it, Erna? Okay. I'm wondering what it would cost to use Harry's berries. That would be hilarious. Okay. Let's see, you guys, have I shown you my iPad? Can you see how broken that is? I'm going to get a new phone and a new iPad. Can you hear it now? A little bit? I don't want it to interfere, but it's kind of fun. Okay. Yeah, I just put on Apple Love Tunes. Okay, let's get some peppers, shall we? Oh, yeah, this was when the movie Robin Hood came out with Kevin Costner. Do you remember that movie? This was the theme song, I think. Wasn't he the lead in it? I can't remember. Was it the, Robin Wright Penn? Was she in it? Who was in it with him? That's like a trivia question for tonight. Okay. All right. Let's see. I just need to taste this on its own. I totally jumped and did the dip instead because these things were in front of me. That's really nicely seasoned, but it needs more lemon. So let me bring my face up. The new iPhones come out in September, Angie, then it's a good time for me to get one, right? I've shared this with some of you, but or I've shared it on Instagram, but I'm going to Bali. Did you know that? I'm going to Bali for a vacation in a couple weeks. My cousin and her husband are taking me, and I'm beyond excited. And so I need a new phone before I go because my phone and my iPad are beyond recognizable at this point. They're hilarious. And so I better do that before I hit the road, right? I know I haven't left the country in 12 or 13 years. It's been a long time. My kids joke that they're like the only people who haven't left the country. And I always say, if that's your biggest problem, you're doing okay, right? So yeah, I'm leaving them at home. Well, let's just put it this way. It's not like they're home alone. One is in college. The other will be at his dad's, but they're not invited. It's a wellness retreat. Yoga, meditation, music. I'm so excited. So I've never been to that part of the world. And we have friends who have kind of like a wellness retreat there, a resort. And so we're going there for a 1-week retreat. I'm so excited. And I haven't seen them because of the pandemic. So that'll be great. Okay, so that is the base for this dip. Let's just go ahead and finish that off because I have everything for it, okay? I've got the onions cooked and cooled. That's the thing, you want to cool the onions first, or you can kind of curdle the cream in there. I like doing the basics sometimes. Do you guys remember how to pull thyme off the leaves? It's like rosemary. Their stems are so woody, right? Can you see that? The new camera is better, isn't it? Ooh. Yep, it'll focus. See how it'll focus for me, unlike my computer? Just wait till I add the second one I tried today, and it was a hot mess. And I tried to add the new microphone that I got next time. I didn't read the instructions. But anyhow, back to the thyme. You're just going to pull against it, right? So the leaves grow up, you're going to pull down. You needed 2 teaspoons. So Susan's already got it figured out, okay? And sometimes, since there are so many little branches on it, you have to kind of pick it with your fingers on each section, right? So Susan's already been here tonight. I'm just going to pick those side leaves off, and then I'll show you with the bigger stem, like a bigger branch, right? So all of those pieces should come off at once for me. Just hold it at the top and pull. And then they just kind of come off. Fun, right? Oh, you know what other playlist I could have played? I'm so glad, Deb, that the camera's good. Do any of you watch Ted Lasso? I'm very excited that it's coming back soon, but I think it's only one more season. This is it. But they, in season 2, when Roy made the, or was that season 1, when he makes the playlist, like, Siri, play I'm Sorry, Keely, for Not Understanding or whatever. It's a ton of music. It's a really fun playlist. I'll have to play that this week. Okay. Okay. Was anybody else on the meditation today besides Fenna? I'm trying to think. I hope you'll go back and watch it. I'm going to do it in the mornings, you guys. I'm going to treat it like my private meditation. It should be back. It should be online. It should be posted in your account tomorrow. So you can take advantage of it. I can't wait for it to post so I can use it. I am a paying member of House of Haas. Did I tell you guys that? Isn't that hilarious? Because I want to receive all the information you all receive. But the joke is, it's like the email company we use like didn't understand that I was emailing myself and kicked me off the list. So I have to send it to an old email address. Erna, yes, that's right. She was fabulous. Yeah. You know, the 7 a.m. was brutal. She had to change the time. She's on the East Coast. And so 7 a.m. was hard. And now that you say it, since we've had two people who weren't here, we've been out there. We've been really early because one was on the East Coast and one was in England. And so not many people get to make it in the morning, but the replays are fabulous. And then what else? Yoga is coming up. Is that this Saturday already at 9 a.m. Pacific time? If so, I think I'll be with the instructor, Beverly Jane, doing it together because she's never used Crowdcast before. And I thought it would be more fun for her to boss me around than have to do it through a screen. Okay, she has this incredible studio that she built out in the woods, kind of. We call it a forest. It's more like hills with some trees. But she built a yoga studio. She used to teach from home, and it's pretty amazing. And she's a soprano, so she sings for us sometimes too. She's amazing. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. Let's just chop my thyme up. This would be put into the onions warm if you were still cooking them. But I'm just going to fold them in because I like raw thyme as well. If I didn't like it, Chris, 7:45 a.m. Mountain Time. That's an early wake up. Most of you all go to work early if you're going to work. Lori, who's not on here tonight, she leaves her house at like 7:15, and so she's not able to join in the mornings either. But sometimes I just have to have people on at weird times just to capture them, right? So I'm so happy that we were able to do that. Okay, so here are all of the onions, and I have seasoned these pretty well. Don't tell anybody that I'm using my same spoon. I'm just cooking basically for myself. I could just eat caramelized onions for dinner, you guys. Oh my God, they're so good. I'm actually pulling a couple aside. Let me get a little bowl because Charlie's going to die if I don't save him some. Sometimes I forget that all of this is just like kind of pretend cooking, right? That I'm not serving it. I'm not making it to like serve to people right away. And so I can do what I want. Like I can take out some of the onions, but I swear to you, I forget all the time. It's like when we're photographing food so often, I forget that it just needs to look pretty. And I get really crazy about how it tastes. It needs to taste perfect. That happened to me last week. So I'm just adding a little bit of this sour cream mayo lemon mixture to the pan because if we put all of those onions in there, it would be too much liquid probably since I just took out some of the onions, right? So these have cooled and we just want enough of the mixture of the sour cream mayo mixture to kind of make this easy enough to dip a piece of bread into. So it's up to you how much of the dairy you'd like to add in comparison to the onions. If you just want all onion flavor, I'm all for it. Okay. I should be tasting this with something else just to see what I think, but let's call this, this is keto. This is a keto diet right here. When we have our next wellness class next week, we'll be talking about different kinds of diets as well, because I know it's really of interest to you. This is so good. Here's the best part. This is fine in the fridge for 2 days. So if you want to make this in advance for a party or for entertaining, or just to have around for a couple days, it's probably great for like longer than that. I just have to always steer clear. I'm going to put it in a serving bowl. I'm going to put it in a bowl so that it'll be ready to go if we want to actually enjoy it with the trimmings, you know? Okay. These onions are amazing. Oops, this bowl's maybe too big. So this is 3 pounds of onions between these two things. You can see how it cooks down. It's kind of unreal, you know? They get so small, but that's what happens when you caramelize all that goodness. Yeah, so I'd want a smaller bowl, but then I would garnish with fresh thyme, and it would be really pretty and super simple. I'm going to put another little sprinkling of salt on it because that'll just help us. That'll just kind of like settle in there, right? And it'll have plenty of seasoning too. So how easy is this recipe, you guys? Pretty awesome, right? There it is. I'll probably put it in a different bowl and like re-photograph it tomorrow and then serve it to my imaginary friends who are coming over. No, oh, Caitlin's gonna be here tomorrow. Yay, we can enjoy it together. I left some of this because I kept all of these onions aside. I could make another dip with this. I could use this as a base actually for like spinach artichoke dip. That'd be delicious. I could do more onions if I wanted to. If you want something thicker, you could take cream cheese to room temperature and mix that with a little bit of the sour cream or mayo. And then, yeah, me too, Bonnie. And then it would also be a great base for something thicker, probably like the spinach artichoke combination, right? So think about that, super simple. I used sour cream, mayo, lemon juice, black pepper, pinch of salt. But you could kind of mix anything in with that and it'd be delicious. I just choose caramelized onions. Okay, let me set this aside. And let's get on to the pepperonata. Did I set the timer for the, I didn't. Let me set the timer for our granita. How's everybody doing? Does anybody need water? Hi, Kirsten. How are you? And Bonnie, I too will eat it all with a spoon. Oh my gosh. I wish I had meat to make a burger tonight, Angie. Maybe I'll make burgers tomorrow and put the dip and or the other caramelized onions on it. That would be absolutely delicious. Okay, so friends, welcome to the bulk of the class because the pepperonata, peeling the peppers, is a moment. And so I want to make sure I show you how to do that, but it gets a little messy. So I'm going to do a couple things first. I'm going to cut my fennel because going into the pan, fennel and onion, garlic, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Fennel, onion, garlic, chili flakes, olive oil, of course, like everything else in my life. And then we're going to add a little sherry vinegar. We're going to add some capers. We're going to add, let me just turn that down. Sorry, folks. We're going to add capers, and then we're going to stir in all of that yumminess from the roasted peppers, okay? So one thing is, this is fennel. If you live in California, Northern California especially, next time you're driving down the freeway, I would like you to look on the side of the freeway, and if you see long branches, it's probably fennel growing wild. You'll see these little things, and it's usually dried out, but it's everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And you can certainly save the fronds for garnish if you'd like. But I just cut them off when I'm cooking, okay? I don't want them in there because they kind of like fall apart and don't look that cute. But you could even put the bottoms in cold water while you cook, and then they'd still look fresh, and you could just watch this. It's like, it looks like dill, right? So put that on it as garnish. Okay. So let me move that out of the way, and I'll get us back down to the cutting board. Oops, how funny, I'm changing my computer because I'm used to it. I don't need to change that. I need to change that. So you guys can tell me if I'm doing my recipe right. Do I tell you to cut the fennel in half? and then cut out the core, because that's what I'm going to show you. Can you see how that is? And then can you see how the core, it's like a triangle shape, right? That's the core. And then it comes up in a perfect triangle. I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut in a triangular shape, just up about that far. And then I'm going to cut the other side in a triangular shape. So what we're doing is removing the core without removing a lot of the rest of it. Pretty good, huh? If you get a little core, that's fine, but that's not bad. I'm going to do the same with the other. Triangle, triangle. Now, if you used a paring knife instead of this big knife, you'd get a lot more control. But here is, oh, that's so cool, Susan. Here's how I'm going to slice it. I'm going to slice it, not dice it. And I just go kind of in the direction that way, and then I cut up this way, okay? You could cut it crosswise that way, but I don't know why I do it. Well, let's see what it looks. I'm going to do it both ways, and you guys can tell me which you prefer. There's an idea. It's just going to fall apart differently. These are all going to be, except for this end, right, more similar in shape. Now I'm going to tell you I've changed my mind and I like it this direction better. Anyhow, here's the other. You can just go, how do I normally do this? No, I'm second. Oh yeah, I start at the top, right? And I kind of cut against it. Kind of at a bias. I guess I'm biased towards bias. Bias cuts. And then when you can't cut anymore, I just flip it and I cut down up. There we go. So this is going to get sauteed with some onion, right? I'm laughing that I'm doing more onion since I already have so much onion in that other one. But let's pretend we're eating this or making this pepperonata for different things. Okay, so I'm just going to slice this onion in half. I don't want to cry, so I'm going to do that at the last second at the cooktop. But here's what I'm going to do to prep it. I'm going to take that off. And then peel it back. And then I'll literally cut it next to the gas flame at the last second. If you all don't know my gas flame trick, if you have a gas cooktop, which are going out of fashion because of environmental reasons, but it's what I've got. If you turn it on and put something like a pot of water on, or even if you're heating your pan, and you slice your onions next to it, the gas does something to prevent you from crying. It's amazing. I never cut my onions away from my gas cooktop. So I always laugh when I go out and I have to cook somewhere where they don't have one, and I cry. Okay, I'm going to take a couple cloves of garlic because I know there's garlic in this recipe. So let's just mince those. And then the fun part is going to be sauteing and putting these all together. One of the things I love about this menu too, if you did want to do it, the whole thing for Valentine's Day is that everything can be made ahead, right? So the only thing you'd be doing at the last minute is searing the tuna. And that is literally a 5-minute process. So I'm saving that for last because this pepperonata is meant to be served at room temperature. It doesn't need to be warm. It doesn't need to be hot by any means. And it can be room temp or warm. I'm just going to thinly slice. There we go. All right. Just getting rid of my garbage. Oh, I'm sorry. Ta-da. Okay, so we've got this great garlic. We've got fennel. We've got my onion ready to go. Okay, I'm going to put that other part of the onion over there. And then I'm just going to rinse my hands as always because they're sticky from that garlic. And I don't want that getting in the way as I peel the peppers. Does anybody else need water or is it just me? Oh, I need my capers over there too. I can't forget those. Those are going to be briny, salty deliciousness. Okay. I hate it when I can't see you all. By the way, you can ask me questions as I'm cooking tonight because there are some things that are kind of laborious, right? Here's what I want to show you. Here they are. They've kind of like steeped down, right? They've steamed and they've let go of some of that liquid. But what you have to be careful about is that there's still going to be a lot of liquid and steam coming out of these. And so I wish, oh, that's a great question, Bonnie. I wish that I had paper towels here because they help you grip it. And I ran out of paper towel and then I didn't buy more today, but here's what you do. And you'll see once I do this, if you've never done it before, why so many people end up buying jarred peppers now, which I give you full permission to do, by the way. Bonnie, the best garlic press I ever owned was from Xylus. And I know it's still sold, but I know people like OXO as well. I just haven't bought a garlic press in 20 years, and I have no idea. Oh, I probably gave it to my ex-husband. He got most of the kitchen stuff because I knew I could replace it. Okay, so look what I'm doing. I've got this pepper. It's very warm on the inside, but the skin is just going to peel right off. So it's okay if you don't get it perfectly, but you just use your fingers to do just that, right? You know what? Yes, it's all good. It's all good, Bonnie. Let me put these in a separate bowl though, because we don't want to put them back in with all those seeds that are going to just stay right in there. I'm just going to put them on this. And then, you know what? These are so delicious to have around, even if you just drizzle olive oil on them, a little salt, balsamic, a splash of balsamic vinegar. And look, you can just tear them by hand. You don't have to go through chopping. Isn't that amazing? So let's do a few more because I actually bought a pack of these. They're organic at Whole Foods today for $7.99. Oh, Angie, that's such a great idea. That's such a great idea. You can scrape the flesh with the back of the knife. That's such a, you know what? I'm going to do that on my cutting board just for kicks here. So do you go like this and you do the flesh side down and you scrape off the pepper, are you saying? Like that? Or do you do it the other direction? I guess you could do it the other direction too. But when they're perfectly steamed, they're really easy to get with your hands. And so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's do a few more. Actually, you know what? To be smart, I'm going to open these all up in the bowl so that they let their steam start to escape. If they were to get really cold, what would happen is that if they were to get really cold, it'd be harder to peel them and the skin kind of like sticks to them again, but we're not going to have that problem here. These are quite warm. So let me take this little guy. You can also use kitchen gloves. Those help tremendously. I really should buy some. Okay. This one's a little, no, look at it, it comes right off. Any part of the brown is just the caramelized part of the pepper. It's not the skin. Kind of went through there. Beautiful. And leave as many seeds aside as possible, right? And liquid. Nothing wrong with the liquid, but I don't want my sauce to be, or my peppers to be very watery. Oof. There's something, I don't know, when I garden, I don't use gloves either. There's something tactile about this that I like. And it's funny because I think I'm kind of like a sensory person and I normally don't like a lot of things touching me. But when I cook, I want to be able to feel my food and tell what's going on. It's just like another way to use my senses. And it's why I don't use an Instant Pot or pressure cooker very often, you guys. It's because I want to be able to like talk to my food, manipulate my food, all of the things with my food, right? Okay, let's just get a couple more. I'm going to let this one cool down just a tad before I put my hands all over it. See all that steam? Wow, you can see all that steam. Yay, camera. Plug for Logitech. Okay, that one just came right off. Woo, that's too hot. I love doing stupid things. I'm always do as I say, not as I do, right? And this is definitely one of those things. It'd be better with gloves or a paper towel. This one should come right off. To-do. Ah, yeah. Oh, gosh, these are gorgeous. Wow. Okay. That didn't take as long as I thought. Oof, beautiful, right? Okay. So I'm going to just tear these up kind of casually. We'll put them into the pepperonata like that. And then I'll end up putting the other ones in as well. In fact, here's what I'll do. So we can move on to something else. I'm going to just kind of, I'll peel these others in a second, but I'm going to leave their seeds behind. Oh, this is like a photo shoot, you know, and nature's just so beautiful. That one just peeled itself. Ooh, that one's too hot still. I'm just gonna pull that one out. And then also paper towel would work to remove any excess seeds. I don't worry about a few seeds going in. It's if you had a ton of them where it'd be hard to digest them and you start to notice them in a dish, right? I mean, if you're cooking like a Michelin chef, you can certainly wipe them all down. You guys know me though, I'm not that finicky about these things. Any other questions as we're going? I'm going to check on our granita as soon as I'm done with this. Okay, let me just pull out these last bits of pepper and then get rid of everything else. Okay, feel free to grab water, whatever you need to keep going. This is going to be delicious. Again, look at this. Like we could do all of this, or you could buy jarred peppers in advance, and then this could be done. And if you want to saute it later, you can, right? So I also love recipes where you can kind of work in sections and you're not feeling the pressure to do everything at once. So you could peel these peppers and just cover them with a loose piece of foil and leave them at room temperature for hours before you use them and mix them into the sauce, okay? I keep calling it a sauce. It's more of like a topping. It's almost like a vegetable dish, right? So I'm going to put these right over here. And then I'm going to show you the tuna and scrape the granita. That was my granita timer. So I hate to take it out of the freezer to scrape it because I don't want it to melt. So let me just go check on it and see what it's looking like. But I've got my fork in hand. Ooh, it's barely freezing. Ooh. I'm going to set another timer for that. Okay, let me check it again in 25 and see what we've got. And we'll talk tuna. Let's talk tuna. I'll put this up a little bit so you guys can see me. So tuna, like I said, very expensive. There are many types of tuna. If you're a sushi lover, you probably know that. But yellowfin, the one I tend to use for tuna to do seared is ahi. And this is big eye tuna steak. And let me show you what it looks like. So the thing is, when you go to buy it at the fishmonger, fish shop, whatever we want to call it, a lot of times they show it in super thick pieces, right? It's really common to present it that way in restaurants where they serve you a huge piece and it's basically rare, right? It's raw on the inside, just seared on the outside. But today I said, I just want a half pound, and I'm so glad he cut it crosswise for me. He took a steak and cut it that way because otherwise it's just, first of all, I don't need that much. Second of all, I just want a light sear on both sides, and it takes like 2 minutes, right? So let me show you how we're going to do this. And I'm laughing now. I'm deeply regretting not buying paper towel because I need it to get the moisture off of this tuna steak. But look at how beautiful this is. You should be able, this is how you know fish is fresh. Well, if it's whole, the eyes need to be clear. If the eyes are at all foggy, you know that the fish is too old. It's been out of the water for too long. But your fish should never smell fishy. And so it doesn't smell fishy. It should smell like the ocean or a stream. But when you get that really extreme fish smell, that means it's probably old. I mean, you can tell it's fish, but there's none of that. Whoa, kind of thing, like back up, right? So it's so beautiful. And I'm just going to prepare this as simply as humanly possible. A lot of restaurants like to blacken it or put on like a heavy seasoning. You certainly can. You could use so many of the seasonings that are popular. I'm just trying to think of one that I would like. I would actually like Old Bay on this, but a lot of people do like a jerk seasoning or anything for blackening, tons of pepper. I just want to taste the tuna, and I want to taste it against this beautiful pepperonata. So what I'm going to do is pat it down. I'm going to add salt to it. I'm going to put the pepper on afterwards, right? Because pepper burns when you have it on the skin or on poultry. So if it's just become popular to finally start talking about the fact that every recipe that says salt and pepper it before you brown the skin, you're burning the pepper. So it affects the flavor of the pepper. So let me go get what I'm going to do to pat this dry. And then I'll make the pepperonata first. And then we'll very quickly sear the tuna in my brand new Le Creuset pan. I've never used this pan yet. Can you believe it? Oh, we're going to have a winner for tonight too. I forgot. We're giving away $100 of Valentine merchandise from Williams-Sonoma. So I'm super excited about that. So this is it. I thought I'd use that because you can grill. You can sear the tuna on your grill. You could do it on a grill pan, but my grill pan is so big that if I just do something small on it, I'll set off the smoke alarm in the house. So I don't want to do that. I'm just going to use this, okay? All right, let me get the towel and we'll make the pepperonata. Here's a kitchen hack. We're filming a bunch more kitchen hacks tomorrow for social media. I could do this one. This is like a, it's like a fancy napkin, right? But the kind for the bathroom. When a lot of people are working in my house, I buy them because it's like, everybody's so worried about sharing towels through COVID. Good, right? It's totally dried it off. So I already moved the salt up here, didn't I? You guys, when I do this, I laugh so hard. This salt is like camouflage. Watch me come up here because you can cover more surface area. If I'm down here with the salt, you're only going to get a concentrated area. So you can do larger surfaces and you can really see where you're putting the salt, right? I'm going to flip it and I'm going to use this hand and then I'll wash my hands because I want it to be well seasoned on both sides. You'll notice I didn't touch the raw fish with this hand. Just trying to keep things clean, right? There it goes. Here's what it looks like, right? Beautiful. Let me wash my hands and then we will move the camera so I can make the pepperonata for you all. Okay. So this can just sit and kind of rest, soak up the salt a little bit. You don't want it to let it sit for too long. It's almost like curing it. You know, it's like ceviche, how the acid and sometimes the salt can kind of cook the flesh. So we're not going for cooked on this. We're just going to leave it while I get the pepperonata going. Okay, let's move this camera a little bit, shall we? I'm just going to tilt it this way so you guys can see me at the cooktop better. My face up a little bit. Let's see here, folks. It's okay, right? It's okay. All right, let's move this. We'll just get the pepperonata going, and maybe I'll switch sides. What happens when I come over here? Oh, better. Look at that light. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. And come back. Okay, so I have got my yummy fennel, garlic, onion. I'm just going to slice the onion real fast so that I can put it in with the fennel. Okay. I'm going to just try to keep using one knife tonight. Wouldn't that be nice to not use all the knives in my kitchen? I'm just going to slice straight across. So I'm not bothering to dice it. I'm just going to slice right across and it'll be perfect. Okay. Now, normally I would worry if the garlic was going in this soon because it would burn, but because there's going to be enough of everything else in the pan, I'm not really going to worry about it, okay? But I do want to have my vinegar out because I'm going to deglaze the pan with that fairly quickly at the end. I'm going to use the red wine vinegar.
I have sherry vinegar at home as well. I just kind of felt like doing something different tonight. All right, so let's get some oil in this pan. And away we go. What am I going to use as my utensil? I love using a flat edge spatula when I am trying to saute things and move them around because you touch all the food with it, right? And if anything's burning on the bottom, you can scrape the pan with it. So in we go. Oops, don't want that part of the onion in it. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure to put a generous pinch of salt in here, okay? Stir it all up. I probably want a little bit more oil than that. If I recall, is it 4 tablespoons? I love testing myself to see if I remember my recipe. Okay, move this back just a little bit. So, let's get that salt. Here it is. This is going to be delicious. I could just eat the pepperonata on its own. And now, if you don't like fennel, you certainly don't have to use it, but I just think it adds a beautiful note to this dish. So if you don't like it, you could add more onion. You can use red onion, you could use yellow onion, whatever you prefer. They're both great in this dish, okay? Any other questions, or are we good? We're good? Leeks would be great. Absolutely, Kirsten. Okay. I lied. One piece of the garlic burned. That's why we add it later, folks. Do as I say, not as I do. Get a spoon. I'm just going to pull out some of the capers to have them ready to go. Okay. Stir, stir, stir. Salt, salt, salt. We're just looking to cook this down just like you would with caramelized onions, right? Oh, yes. Well, can I take you on my retreat? I can't even believe it actually hasn't hit me. I have to go because, or that I get to go because I'm under a lot of pressure for my cookbook deadline. I have to make sure it goes to print next week. And so there's that. And then there is getting all of House of Haas up and running in terms of some other features and benefits we want to add to it. And then just growing our membership. And so I have not even thought about the fact that 2 weeks from tomorrow I get on a plane. I mean, I wonder if I'll panic, right? Being away from my family like that. But I think once I get there, I'll be okay. And I'm excited to fly through Hong Kong and Singapore, one direction, Hong Kong, the other, only to just literally land in a different country and walk around the airport. I've heard Singapore's airport is phenomenal. I think I have like a decent enough layover in both. So it's the little things in life. And then we get to go on all kinds of adventures in Bali. Like they're taking us to the temples. But my friend Sarah, who owns the resort with her husband, she used to be an ER nurse. And so they live in Bali most of the time. Her husband's actually a rock star, a musician. So they live in Bali when he's not touring. And she was an ER nurse. So they're taking us to a birthing center there in Bali that's supposed to be fantastic. And we get to volunteer there one day. We're doing all kinds of interesting things around Bali in addition to taking care of our bodies. So I'm thrilled. I can't wait. It's going to be a once in a lifetime trip, I think. I'm actually supposed to go teach there at some point. We just didn't arrange it far enough in advance for me to go do it. Everybody wants to come. You're invited. It would be amazing for to host an actual retreat. Well, my goal is to host just like a retreat in person in the States at some point, right? I don't know where or when. 2023 is probably out of the question by now, but it would be really fun to do a live in-person House of Haas event. What else? We've also got swag coming. My friend is helping me design swag. So t-shirts, sweatshirts, mostly for me to wear first. But if you all like them, you get to help us vote on the style of everything. And then branding here at the cooktop, just aprons. It's going to get real around here, folks. I'm just going to add a little bit more olive oil because it really is the base for this, right? You can be generous with it. Yay, Susan. I hope this year that the retreat that I get to attend in at the Gasparilla Inn in Florida is back on. It literally, that hurricane hit the week that we were supposed to have it last year, so it was canceled. And so that's an amazing one. Okay. This is getting pretty soft. I don't want, you can leave it to have a little bit of bite. That's absolutely fine. I want mine to be a little bit Asilomar. I don't know it. What is that? Where is that? I should ask Kirsten. Asilomar. Tell me more. Oh, Monterey. I just got an email. You know what? I think it's spelled differently. Unless it's a different place. That's in Big Sur. Oh, Pacific Grove. Fantastic. I wonder. But I'd love to do something down there. Okay, this is almost done, folks, and then we'll sear this tuna and we'll be good to go, okay? This is how easy this is. I mean, it's really not a lot of ingredients. Roasting the peppers yourself adds something for sure. But if you wanted to use jarred peppers, like I do for my pepperonata, you can drain them, right? Because a lot of times they're packed in something that's like citric acid. So just drain them and rinse that off and then just peel them apart and you could use them. I like using fresh sometimes too because I like the variation of the colors with it. So it's just pretty. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and deglaze this pan. First of all, I can add the capers. I'm going to add them before I add the red wine vinegar. I like them to get like a little crispy from the oil. And then I'm going to add a splash of the red wine vinegar. And then I'll add the peppers. They're probably, oh, you know what I forgot? Let's talk crushed red pepper. I use the smallest amount. I'm a total wimp. That's enough to give me some heat. There you go. I want to just cook it a little bit before I add the other ingredients. You can actually like feel the heat come off of there. Like it kind of catches me in the nose, the spice. Okay, so there's a lot of juice on these peppers. Go ahead, add it if you want. We'll add the little bit of the vinegar. You could certainly add lemon juice to this instead. And then we're going to add all of these peppers that I just pulled apart, right? I'm not going to add the ones I didn't peel yet. I'll come back and add those in a minute. But let's just get these all stirred together so I can show you how simple this is. Oh, yummy. Yum, yum, yum. Now, will somebody quiz me? Does this call for fresh parsley? You can definitely add more salt, Susan, if you don't add capers. Yes, great call. So I'm going to taste for seasoning right now. I end up adding salt anyhow. I think I added salt when I was cooking the onions and the fennel, right? So you just want to add a little bit more. So taste as you go, as always, and see what you think. I'm just going to put this here. Let's take a look at it. Whew, gorgeous. Let me let it cool for a second, which also I'll just add the other peppers to it. And then do I add chopped parsley, friends? You can tell me if I'm supposed to if you're looking at the recipe. No peppers, okay, or no parsley. Okay, you certainly can. You can add freshly chopped parsley. You can add basil. I do so many different versions of these recipes that I forget sometimes. But you could do this entire thing on the grill too. You could just put, well, I'm talking about a Traeger, right? Where you can put your cookware on the grill and it's fine. But yeah, use whatever you like for an herb. Parsley, basil, a combination of mint and basil would be delicious. Here, see the skin, it's getting a little cooler, so it's a little harder to pull off, but you can still do it. Okay. Friends, I'd love to get on Instagram after our classes and tell everybody how much fun we have. I hope you'll spread the word if you're having a good time. My dream is to just be able to do these classes and make this my one thing. Oh, and write cookbooks, of course. So I'm already making up recipes. Okay. Ta-da! Get rid of this excess skin. And give it a stir. If you're ever wanting to get more vegetables into your life, I'm telling you, this is a great way. Ooh, yummy. This is going to be really warm. But I got my spoon out to try it, so let's roll the dice, friends. What do you say? Let me get a little bit of everything in here. I need to get a caper. It's being stubborn. This is absolutely delicious. It's absolutely delicious. I love this so much. So now here's the best part. You can literally leave this at room temperature all day, or cover it once it's cooled, refrigerate it for literally days on end. You could leave it out at room temperature, covered probably overnight, and just serve it at room temperature the next day. Think how yummy this would be if you chopped everything a little bit finer and mixed it with orzo for an orzo salad. Oh, that would be incredible. I'm just going to set it. I'm going to put it over here, kind of away from the fish, and leave it there until I serve it, okay? I'll get a plate out for this whole thing. I'm just going to wipe everything on the floor too, because I can mop. Okay, sorry. Let me get a plate. Actually, I like this size because it's going to be small. If we were doing a side dish with it, I would do an appropriate dinner plate. I sure can, Bonnie. Did you ask me that while the pepperonata was lower, or do you want it lower while I'm cooking? Sorry about that, because I'm going to move over to the tuna. Let's do this. Oh, you asked me earlier. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do for the fish. Come on down here. I'm going to preheat the pan. I'm going to get it really hot, and I'm going to sear this literally for maybe a minute per side. I just want it to be cooked on top. If you wanted to go to the trouble of searing this side so it was cooked all the way around, you can. I like it where you can see that it's rare on the sides, right? So because if you were to serve this at a restaurant or serve it to friends, you want them to know that it's rare inside. So I don't bother trying to, sear the skinny sides there. So we're not going to do that today. Okay. Lovely that I have the cooked up on simmer the entire time. Oops. Okay. So this needs to get really hot. And then I'm going to turn my vent on before I cook it because I don't want to set off my smoke alarm, which is never a fun thing to do, right? I'm also going to just spy on the granita for a second and close the door where the smoke alarm could go off. It's getting there. How many more minutes? I'm going to set the timer for like 10 more minutes on the granita. Then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay. Don't worry, I'm never far from the flame, I promise. But I do want my fish ready to go. And then you know what? I need my fish spatula. It's time. And you could put the pepperonata on top of the fish, or you could put it on the bottom and just garnish really simply with you could even do some of this, right? That would be beautiful. Okay. Le Creuset takes a while to heat up. Cast iron enamel does. Cast iron does not conduct heat quickly, but it conducts heat very evenly and slowly. That's why most slow cookers are made of cast iron. So it takes a long time to heat up, but maintains that temperature really nicely. Whereas some other metals like aluminum heats up really fast, but the temperature is very volatile, right? So just a little fun cookware education. Just want the smallest amount of oil. Let's give it a little swirl. Obviously, if this pan were here longer, the handle would be hot on this. So I'm going to get myself a drier towel. Wet towels conduct heat. Water conducts heat. So you can burn yourself really easily on a handle if you are using a damp towel. I learned that lesson the hard way. Oh, I even took out my mitts already. Okay, let's do this thing. Come on, tuna. Fast, fast, fast. Hot, hot, hot. I'm going to show you up close what this looks like, okay? You can see, well, I'll be able to show you, it starts to brown up the sides, right? So you really don't want it coming up much because it'll be cooking the tuna itself. We're just looking for it to get a sear on the bottom. A little bit longer. The hotter the pan, the better. I'm staring at it like I'm babysitting it, but I kind of am. Literally, just the smallest, just until it releases from the pan, okay? If you had it on a grill, it would get those sear marks, which a lot of people like. I forgot to tell you one important thing about making sure that your fish is out and comes at room temperature for a while. Otherwise, it will be cold on the inside. We don't want cold. Let's take a look. I'm going to flip it. Oh, it's beautiful. It's actually kind of shaped like a heart. Hold on, let me get this there. Let me show you. Okay. So, can you see the sear on this, right? So you can see how all we're trying to do, the hotter the pan, the quicker you can cook it. So you get some color on the top part and then you flip it. So you can see why I don't like to tip it on its side where you use tongs to put it up on its side to cook through, because otherwise people won't know that it's seared, right? And what I just realized is I actually think I'll slice this for you because I want to show you. Can you see the lines of the tuna this way? You want to cut it against the grain just like you would steak. So let's do that together, okay? I love that spatula, Bonnie. It's my favorite. Okay. Oh, I can get my hair out of my face. I forgot I have my little clip here. Getting very serious around here, folks. Okay, let's just make sure everything there is good. I'm gonna get my cutting board. And let's use a slicing knife, and I'll explain why. So a slicing knife has a really thin blade, and I'll show you the difference, which I think you'll be able to see on the camera. Can you see that this one is thinner than this one? So this is my chef's knife. This is a slicing knife. So it's a thinner blade, and it's shorter vertically, right? And this is because you want to take long strokes through meat and you don't want to be sawing with it. So you're usually using a knife that's longer than the meat you're trying to cut because you just want one slice through it, okay? So if you use a chef's knife, you'll just get more kind of like jagged. It's harder to get a fine slice on it. So here are the lines of the tuna, right? Thank you, Erna. We're gonna go this way. And we're just gonna slice. See how, oh my gosh, my knife is sharp. See how beautiful that is? My goodness. You just wanna slice as little as possible. So because my knife is still sharp, I'm not having to really saw at it, which I'm gonna show you what happens when you do. Just by doing this, you're gonna like compromise the outside layer of the meat, right? So a sharp knife here makes all the difference in the world. Oh my gosh, this is a beautiful piece of fish. Can you see how it fell apart there? In fairness, this is kind of like that tip kind of wants to fall off already anyhow. You can see how it looks like it becomes tuna, like canned tuna, right? This is really high quality, but when it cooks, if I let it overcook, you could just use it like tuna. It would be a bummer, but it would be delicious nonetheless. Ooh, let's see this. Oh, wow, in Sacramento, Sound Bowl. Amazing. Congratulations. Enjoy every minute of it. Would you ever want to teach or get on here with us, Erna, and lead us through one? Oh, this tuna is delicious. Now let's plate it, okay? I think now that I've sliced it, here's how I'll try it. You can always opt to go the other direction. I'm going to put, you know what else I would do, frankly? See how these pieces are shorter because of the way the tuna was cut? I might cut these longer pieces in half just because that one is so long, right? So make them a little bit more similar in size. But then I would stack them on the plate. And I kind of like to stack things off to the side because let's pretend we were going to put something else on this plate. And then I'm going to spoon that delicious sauce all over it. Now I can see why I would want to put it on the bottom because now you're not going to see this gorgeous tuna. But we just want to try the flavors together, right? And now let's see what it looks like with a little bit of the fennel frond on it. We're just messing around. Ooh, that could be really pretty. Ooh, I like it, friends. I like it. Oh, you'll be certified. That's amazing. Amazing, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm really excited about how this turned out. I'm going to move this tuna aside. I wonder who my lucky friend is going to be tonight who gets to eat this. Or, I mean, it's not something you really want to save, but this certainly screams, I love you. I mean, this is a splurge, right? Just not the technique, but the food itself. So I want you to be able to see this. Forget my face. There we go. Okay, let's take a look, friends. Let's take a look. I mean, it's seared perfectly, but if you were doing it at home and you hadn't, wouldn't you think that you had underdone it, right? You might get a little bit nervous about that, but all you need to do is cook it right on its side, let it rest for a minute or two before you slice it. And then let's talk about these flavors together. Oh my gosh. You do have to see my face for the reaction. It is absolutely delicious. This is why I don't think we should wait for Valentine's Day to do amazing things like this. I spent $15 on this fish. It was half a pound. So this is 2 servings, right? I spent $7 on the peppers. I spent a couple bucks on the olive oil. I'm just thinking about how much I used. I'm not even using, I used less than half of the pepperonata. My point is, this is probably a $30 meal tops to make for 2 people. And it would get less expensive for more people because all you'd be adding to is the fish itself, right? Everything else you've got enough. So this is a beautiful meal. Don't wait until Valentine's Day. That's my pepper. This is my pepperonata. That's my granita. Let me go get it out of the freezer and I want to show you what's happening. That is absolutely delicious. 2 thumbs up from Amanda. Okay. I'm going to get the granita and bring it over here because it's important for you to see what it looks like at different phases. So even if it's not done and we are, it's okay. You're going to see. And then I can always show on Instagram the final product. Let me bring it to you. Oh, this is actually perfect for scraping. I'm going to move really quickly because I want you to see what's happening. So the outside edges are starting to freeze. And so you just pull your fork across it. You can't really mess this up, okay? I'm going to put it down. You just pull it, right? And then just flatten it back out. And as it starts to set, it'll set on the bottom completely. So as you start to rake it, it'll flake and become crystally, okay? In you go. Friends, I am not disappointed with what we made tonight. I love this menu so much. And I love the fact that any of these things on their own could be amazing. This dip, gorgeous. In fact, even if you did fennel, I'm just trying to show you, if you did parsley, thyme, anything like that on top for garnish, it would be really, really nice. But this would be amazing for a casual galentine's. There are no men on here. I could just say galentine's. Or Valentine's treat. If you just want to hang out, have a glass of wine, eat some crudité, have some dip, maybe do a little cheese or charcuterie board and call it a night, right? Or just celebrate with friends. Or like I said, I would not save this for Valentine's Day. It is too good to save for once a year. I hope you'll make it more often. And peppers are always readily available in the market. I know that they're in season in late summer. At least they are here. We do have a really long growing season in all fairness, but they're very easy to find everywhere and they grow them around the world. So we can get them organically too, you know? Yes. So a carb side, a couple things. I'm filming a video tomorrow for a couple potato recipes. One is that crazy hash brown I did. Did anybody see that on Instagram? It's like a 5-minute hash brown. And it would actually be delicious under the tuna with the pepperonata on top. Otherwise, roasted potatoes on the side. So you can do little baby potatoes and cut them in half. Roast them at 400 degrees with olive oil, any herbs you'd like, for 20 to 30 minutes until they're crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. So I'd probably do baby roasted potatoes unless you do this crazy hash brown situation. But I'm going to film tomorrow for an actual House of Haas hack. I'll probably put it on Instagram again as we're shooting it because all I did, you guys, was take a yellow potato like this and I put it on a box grater, right? So shred until it's just like the top is left, right? I didn't bother trying to do that part because I don't want to hurt my fingers. Then I put it on paper towel and pressed it down to get the liquid out, salted it, olive oil in a pan really hot. I literally flipped all of that. Like I have it like in a pile like that. I flipped it into the pan and just let it sit in the olive oil, turned it until it was brown and crispy. It is so delicious. I'm obsessed with doing it. So yeah, it was really fun. So we'll do that. So that could be really fun under the tuna because the crunch of the potato against the tuna could be magnificent. Now I'm thinking about another recipe for my next book. Isn't that funny? I can't even believe I'm saying that, but this is when I'm most creative. When I'm going to print on the other one, my brain's going to explode. Let's talk other questions, friends. I'm going to have one more bite of this, as rude as that is, and then call it a night. Questions, other comments about Valentine's or entertaining questions that you have for me? This is my last bite, I swear.
Have to get it away from me. Let's see if there's a question. Oh, of course, Diana, my sincere apologies. You did not get that email. When Caitlin's here tomorrow, let me double check that list to make sure everything's okay. Okay. Fun mocktail ideas. That's funny. I was just talking to a company about mocktail ideas yesterday. Bonnie, that's a great one too. Mocktail ideas. I've been keeping things really simple. Speaking of simple, since I just made simple syrup, there are a couple things I like to do with it when I'm making a mocktail, because I don't like to put a lot of sugar in my drinks. I think it's like kind of a bad use of sugar, right? Because you drink it away and you don't realize how much you're consuming. But I've made simple sugar where I infuse it with like a rosemary sprig, right? So when you dissolve the sugar and water together on the cooktop, turn it off and just put some herbs in there. You could do thyme or rosemary. Let them sit for like 10 minutes and then take it out, and you'll be shocked at how much flavor is there. And then I'll take, maybe a tablespoon of that with some lemon juice. I love citrus with that, and shake it on ice, right? Like in a cocktail shaker, and strain it and then fill it with soda water. I also like to do like fake mojitos with lime juice and mint and a little bit of simple syrup and soda water. So those are my go-tos. And then I think I showed you guys, I was gifted this, where did I put it? Oh, there it is, the abstinence. These are 2 new non-alcoholic spirits that I like a lot. Cape Citrus. My eyes are so bad. And then zero sugar, vegan friendly, small batch distilled. This is made of orange lemon. I've never heard of this. What is this, friends? NAARTJE. I knew I brought my glasses out here. Oh, I can see. Grapefruit buchu. Don't know it. Cassia. Kasha? How do you say that? Pepper, fennel, and ginger. Is kasha a type of pepper? Corn? No idea what narchi or buchu are, but this is from South Africa, so maybe that's why. In this one, this is natural food coloring, which is great. Water, this one does have sugar in it. Inverted cane sugar, distilled botanicals. It's super bitter, like Campari. Natural flavoring, quinine, citric acid, black carrot. That's what colors it. Amazing. So this one's got a little bit more sugar in it, but these are both great bases. And then they recommend how to serve them. Both of this one says add 1.5 ounces and then add ice and top with soda or tonic, garnished with fresh orange. And their cocktail on here is to add 1.5 ounce. Oh, and garnished with grapefruit and fresh rosemary. Imagine that. And tonic or soda water. So really simple, really simple. And then let me answer the question. I can see that, but I can't see that. Any good hacks for dinner usage? These are called abstinence is the label. And so it's new from South Africa. I'm not sure where it's available now. I know if you look online, you can find out where they're selling it. Okay. It's very, very new to the States. Using the dip for dinner ideas. Oh my gosh. Like somebody said, you could slather that on a burger. It would be amazing. You could put it on any kind of sandwich, right? And call it like a French onion dip sandwich. So like grilled chicken, it would be delicious with. You could do it with steak, obviously. It'd be great with steak. So you could do it on a sandwich. You could also use it like hello, Ruffles, Super Bowl for sure. You know what? What is it about Ruffles for the Super Bowl? The other chip that I would say is up there in terms of like scoopability and likeness for me is the kettle chips. I love kettle chips. But Ruffles have something, well, it's the ridges. If you're going to dip, you got to love it, right? Better than Fritos. I would definitely go Ruffles for this, okay? And what are the other ones that come in? Pringles. Pringles would be too soft for this. They'd break. You need a Ruffle. You need a Ruffle or a kettle chip, friends. So think sandwich spreads. You could even serve, on burgers, on any kind of sandwich. It would be absolutely delicious. But if you take this to a party and you serve it, it's going to be gone in 5 seconds. I'll just warn you, okay? What else? Any other questions? I don't want to keep us for time just because, but we'll be announcing another House of Haas Q&A. for the VIP membership at the end of the month. And I know I have been slow to explain kind of what's happening with the membership for everybody, but there will be more emails coming on this too to explain it, because I realized a couple weeks ago, and I had the best talk today about some people in Oakland about my goal of trying to find a way to bring House of Haas to more people. So yes, a subscription model is great, but I just found as I was continuing to charge for every class that it's not my goal to try to make more money off of a small group of people. It's my goal to try to make a little bit of money off of a lot of people, to make it equitable for everyone, right? And so a few of you have been so incredibly generous, and you've signed up for so many things. So I've gotten a couple emails, and we will sort it out. If you would like your money back on the wellness seminar, I will be happy to do that, or we can just credit you for life. But all of you who've bought multiple classes like that are in forever. And then if you have been a member and you want to switch, we're changing the pricing to $9.99 a month or $19.99 a month. And the $19.99 a month gets you contest giveaways for every class. It gets you seats in classes that have to have a limited number of people. It gets you invites to any public events that I'll be doing around my book signing or some other things happening in my life that are really fun, or any House of Haas events that we do, right? But what we've also done is we're going to take all of that content that we've done separately, which is the 2 meal planning classes, the wellness class, the class with Michelle Tam. What else am I forgetting? The Thanksgiving class. And we're going to wrap all of that up under House of Haas. So you don't have to pay extra for anything else, okay, moving forward. So that's a choice I decided to make. And of course it's messy, but I decided to do it before we had so many people, we wouldn't be able to turn back. So we're manually doing it right now, and we'll talk more about it. But I continue to, it's hard legally to say too what I'm doing with the funds, but I am donating a percentage of my sales to 2 organizations right now I love so much, which are Save the Children and No Kid Hungry. But I'll be making some new announcements on that soon about some other great companies, nonprofits I'll be giving our money to, and we'll probably start doing like periods of time donated to one and then period of time donated to another, instead of spreading it out 50-50 all the time. So I'll be really excited about the communities I'm trying to support. And my first goal from I'm not a philanthropy, I'm not a 501c3, but my first goal to kind of build the community is to try to give an entire city access to House of Haas, and it's Oakland. So I don't know how I'm going to make it work, but I'm going to make it work. And that's it. So if you are having fun with me, I hope you'll spread the word. I hope you'll tell your friends to sign up. The other thing is there's no obligation to stay for more than a month. You just have to cancel it yourself, right? We have instructions on the site how to do that. We just need to make it more apparent. So if people want to come for $9.99 for 1 month, they can just make a note to cancel it themselves in a month. And they can access all of those past classes, right? So they can catch up if they want. They can watch whenever. They can also join us for live classes for the 30 days that they're a member. So I would love it if you'd spread the word. This is all I want to do, is cook and hang out with you guys. So please, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What else? This is my favorite non-work event for the week. Well, you just made my day. The difference with the $10 a month is that it's a total smoking deal for $10 a month, right? The jump to $19.99 gives you, one private Q&A or extra bonus class with me a month. We might just make it a kind of ask Amanda anything, and then, or let somebody suggest a topic. So if you guys keep coming back to me, like, I want more knife skills, or I want you to show me how to differentiate between cuts of meat. I'm just making stuff up. How to cut an onion for 45 minutes. I'll do those. So you get a private class that's much smaller. You get a giveaway. So you get entered in the giveaways, 1 per class. And so all this amazing swag that people are so kind to usually donate to me. You'll be entered in those giveaways. And then you also get access to any of the smaller classes. Like when I have guests on that are pretty amazing, you'll we'll max those classes out, and we'll let the VIPs have access first, and then any in-person events that we do as well. So there will probably be more House of Haas events, actual events happening that will be live in person with a fundraising angle to them, right? So you'd have access to anything we do in person first as well, okay? And if I ever do celebrity stuff, that kind of stuff. Oh, Diana, did you like Josh? I'm so glad you liked him. That's the other thing. I paid for all of our guests to be on, right? Like I have a thing against asking people to do things for free. I'll ask people to join me on Instagram for free, but I don't like it when you just call in favors from people all the time. And I think that the quality of the people that we got for this wellness conference were so spectacular. Not conference, it's a workshop, right? That they're worth their weight in gold. So yes, I would love to have him back on. He was amazing. Diana, it took everything in me not to turn that into a personal conversation. If anybody follows Josh Conley on Instagram, he's Josh_FFW. He's phenomenal. And I wake up and he's usually in my Instagram feed and he's saying something that applies to me every day of the week. It's like he understands my childhood. It's kind of crazy. So it was amazing. Anyhow, so grateful for all of you. And keep on keeping on. If you need anything from us, you can always email us at hello@amandahaascooks.com to change your membership and or to ask any questions or request class ideas too, okay? I would love some requests. If you DM me in Instagram or you email us, I would love to hear what you'd like to learn this year. For some reason, I got it in my brain, when I was in Austin last weekend, how fun it would be to do like a picnic class, like all recipes that you could take and eat outdoors with you, like portable. I don't know, it just sounded fun. But we don't have to stick to anything here in House of Haas. So I love your requests, okay? More meal planning to come for sure. I'll probably offer that as just a separate class that's included with the cost of House of Haas. And more everything, okay? Oh, you eat outdoors all year long. That's terrific. Okay, well, I'm going to let you guys go. It was a terrific night with you as always. I'm going to get on Instagram and show the granita when it's finished. So if you want to check it out, if you're on Instagram, check out Amanda Haas Cooks. I'll post it for us, okay? And love you all and appreciate you so much. Have a great night. Bye. Thank you, you guys. Good night. I'm finally learning where to end the broadcast. Okay, bye.